Hey sportsman, John Bergsman here from the Outdoorsman Pro Shop right here in Jenison, Michigan. They've got a store that is loaded with product. We've got a report that's loaded with information, 6 great stops. We're going to take you from one side of Michigan on a tour all the way to the other side. We're going to start in Monroe, Michigan. We're going to head on up to Saginaw Bay. Then we're going to head north to Alpena, jump across the state. We're going to touch Traverse City, slide on down, talk about Cadillac, Michigan, an awesome bite going on in Cadillac, end the day here in Holland, Michigan. 6 great reports right here on Fisherman's Digest Hot Bites. So a little bit has changed over in the Monroe area as the season has progressed. And it isn't that the fish aren't biting. What it is that the fish location has shifted just a little bit. So let's talk about that. The fish biting first. They're biting great. And there's lots of fish. And there's 2 different areas we want to highlight. The first is the dumping grounds out of Sterling State Park. The dumping grounds has been a very good spot for the last several weeks. And we've got consistent reports coming in that 20, 21 foot of water on the edge of the dumping grounds has really been producing a lot of fish. Now, guys are catching them a variety of different ways. One of the most common ways that I've seen on this week's report is 3 different areas talking about the Dreamweaver worm burner. And that is that they're starting to pick their speed up now, but the fish seem to still want stuff that has bait on the back of it. So rather than going 1-2, 1-3 with spinners and crawler harnesses, a lot of guys are flipping over to number 1 or 2 tadpoles behind their offshore boards, and they're putting a 6-foot lead, putting a Dreamweaver worm burner in purple, pink, antifreeze. Those are all super good colors. And that harness on the back, then they're just tipping it with a nice juicy night crawler. And it seems like the walleyes are really eating that up big time. We got the same report from another stop that we'll touch on later. The Dreamweaver worm burner working really well right now. Speed is about 1.6 to 2. That's a really good speed for that rig. And the fish are really active right now. The second area outside of Monroe is the state line. So you're heading south out of Sterling State Park and out to deeper water. You're going to be working that 24 to 26 foot of water close to the Ohio line. And there seems to be a very good group of a little bit better sized fish out there. Same thing. They're really wanting to have something tipped with a crawler. Now, I did see some reports of some guys doing all right with just the mini spoons or bandits. But the guys who are really limiting out quick in the first 3-4 hours of the day for the whole boat seem to be putting a crawler on. So whether it's a spinner harness behind a tadpole or the Dreamweaver worm burner behind a tadpole, get out there to the Monroe area. If you're looking for a great charter, my friend Nick Dode from Real Live Action Sport Fishing, still guiding out of Monroe, and he's going to stay, he told me, out of Monroe until the fish quit biting. And right now it looks like he could spend another month there. So get a hold of Nick if you're looking for a charter.
Here's our HB TS-100. This is our hybrid tube style rod holder right here. Oval base on it, all aluminum base. We incorporated it in for 2020, just like our cradle, our new hybrid series we're doing. So all heavy duty molded tube. Our squeeze button adjustability right here on the side. We just squeeze this in, adjust it up and down to our different positions, and we can bring it right back inside the boat. Just kind of showing you how it works there. And then give you a lot of different fishing positions out of it, stand it straight up and down. And then on our hybrid cradle and tube styles, our oval base still provides us the 45 degrees of rotation turning, so we can fish in different locations out of there. So our HB TS-100, check it out at TrakTech.com.
So sliding north from Monroe, we're going to end up over in the Saginaw Bay region. And listen, we've got multiple good reports of fishing coming out of Saginaw Bay. We got Jason Graham from Send It Charter, who is just beating them up on flicker shads, number 7 and 9 flicker, number 7 flicker shads, number 9 flicker minnows, running it out on 30-pound braid and to his offshore boards. And he's humming along at pretty quick speed, 2 to 2.2, covering some water, having some really good success. As you see, as the pictures go across the screen, Jason is banging fish. Boat limits every single time out. Fish are really active right now. That's really good for the guys that have been waiting for the Saginaw Bay fishery to really turn on. Seems to be the areas either side of the shipping channel, out by 1 and 2. You're also getting them on the deep side of the Linwood Beach Marine, basically straight out towards the shipping channel. There's been a pocket of decent fish there in between Linwood Beach and the shipping channel. So that's one area. The second area is the Outer Bay. Talked to Captain Mike Vane, who's now retired, who lives up in the Our Gray area, and also Nick Miato, the guy who bought my last year's Polar Craft, who has really got into the walleyes nicely. You see some of the pictures going across the screen for that. Nick tells me, and Mike tells me, they're going really good, dragging bouncers behind boards. So 1 ounce and 2 ounce bouncers. Nick's program was 80 back on 1 ounce bouncers, 40 back on 2 ounce bouncers, then the offshore board, putting a spinner harness on, you know, all the traditional colors, the purples, the greens, the pinks and high fluorescence. But where Nick has been doing the best is out kind of in that general gravelly shoals area. So you're going to run out of our Gray Harbor, you're going to go to gravelly shoals. He's been in that 40 to 45 foot depth range, moving about 1.5 miles an hour. He had really good success, boated way more than his limit, but of course, Nick just kept his limit, and they had a really good fish fry. But, you know, you can keep on fishing and just play fun fishing when you got a holiday weekend in front of you. But I'll tell you what, the fishing out of Saginaw Bay seems to be going everywhere you go. You just have to work on getting on the pattern. So whether it's shallow water with crankbaits or whether it's deep water like Nick and Mike have been doing out by Our Gray, just stay patient, play with your leads. Out there by Our Gray, it seems like the fish are a little bit more meat orientated, where the spinners are working better. That's actually pretty typical for Our Gray. So get on over to Saginaw Bay, enjoy yourself on that great body of water.
Midwest Steel Carports is Michigan's premier steel building manufacturer. We manufacture and install custom steel buildings throughout Michigan. Our engineer-certified steel buildings are fully tailored to fit your every need, and our up to 40-year warranty protects your investment. From residential storage sheds to commercial warehouses, let our team work with you to find your ideal building. For more information and pricing, visit MidwestSteelCarports.com.
So next report of the day is Captain Steve Hubert from Chumbucket. Now, Steve has been beating the heck out of the fish up in the greater Alpena area all year long. So this report comes to us compliments of Steve's high lines, basically. He's been running a combination of 50s, 75s, and 125 coppers, and they have been doing a number on increasing his silverfish production up there. Seems like the mixed bag, the Lakers are a guarantee with Steve. It's almost, I haven't heard of the last time Steve went out and didn't catch his boat limit of Lakers, but he's always searching for that mixed bag feel to his trips so that his guys get to experience the great fight that the steelhead and the Atlantics that are so common up there in the midsummer give you. So he's identified that bite. It's Dreamweaver Super Slims on high lines, 50s, 75s, and 125s. Steve's chugging along at about 2.5 miles an hour, and he's fishing basically, depending on weather now, the outer area of Thunder Bay up to Rockport and as far north as Presque Isle. It just really depends on how calm a water he's going to deal with. Now, Presque Isle has kicked out some really nice catches of steelhead for him, whereas Rockport and Thunder Bay, he's encountering steelhead, but also has a much better chance at getting the elusive walleye. The Thunder Bay fishery walleye is just starting to turn on now. 4th of July is typical for that. You're going to see it improve from August all the way through September, and you'll see a lot more walleye in Steve's catches. So again, if you're looking to just put Lakers in your boat and you're going up there with your own boat, it's super simple. You're basically running your 2 downriggers 20 feet off the bottom, putting in a tractor like a number 8 or 10 Spin Doctor on, putting a big spoon or a Spin and Glow on, and you're going to catch lots of fish. A green and glow, Spin and Glow is a good choice. And that number 8 Spin Doctor, I don't even know if I got one sitting right here. I do actually. This is the color that Steve's using right there. It's kind of got a purplish flash. I'll read the color to you. It is a white double pearl. So it's a white spin doctor with a double pearl coat on it. This is the one Steve uses as an attractor. It's just a good generic base color, and he seems to catch a ton of fish on that particular thing by bringing fish into the middle of his sets. So here's the key, guys. It isn't always about catching the fish on the rigger as much as it is using the attractor, that big spin doctor, to bring those fish that are looking into the set. Then as they come through your coppers, or as if they turn away and don't hit the riggers, your coppers are going to come through then. You got a much better chance of catching them.
You always get the best at Beck's Trailer Superstore, the nation's largest trailer dealer. With over 1,500 trailers on 45 acres, you won't find a better selection anywhere. Whether you're looking for an open or enclosed trailer for work or play, you'll find the perfect trailer at Beck's. We have flexible financing options through several national and local lenders to offer the most competitive rates and payments from only $69 per month with approved credit. For the best selection of quality trailers at unbeatable prices, call 888-SAVE-BECKS or visit BecksTrailerStore.com.
Hey, so next report of the day is my personal report from last week. We were over in the Traverse Bay area and we put the big angler quest out on the big water, and we used our forced trolling motor to spot lock and catch us a beautiful boat limit of 15 Lakers. Now, when I say a boat limit, meaning I got sick of catching them because we don't keep anything. We release all those fish. But we just wanted to get a really good show filmed, and boy, did we. As you see these pictures going across the screen that Brett's going to show you, these are big fish, and we were catching them on Luna jigs. Now, the Luna jig is made by White River Tackle, and we were snap jigging that Luna jig and having great success. Now, the key to catching these fish is to find structure, humps, and knobs out there in either East or West Bay, and then cruise the tops of them. Now, there's no real right or wrong depth. In other words, the top of that hump could be 85, the top of that hump could be 110. It could be 140. It's not really about the depth of water. It's that you want to look for fish that are on the tops of the structures. And especially if those fish are up maybe 2, 3, 4 feet off the bottom. When you see those strong lake trout marks that are clearly up off the bottom, those fish are willing to bite. How you do it? Super simple. We put our angler quest on top of a hump with our main graph. Our Garmin, we use our Navionics, of course, to find the humps on our chart, drive to them. Then we drop the forced trolling motor in, turn it on, and then we would drive until we marked a good 2, 3 marks. You don't really want to fish for one fish lone marks. You want to find 2, 3 marks close together. That creates a competitive situation. Then you immediately take your remote control on your Garmin as you're driving. Once you see them, you put the big engine in reverse to take your momentum away, hit your spot lock. Now you're generally right on top of them. Then you can go ahead, walk up front, get your spinning rod in your hand, let the wind swing the boat around and you're locked. Now, the cool thing is that with the extreme visibilities of the greater Traverse City region's water, you don't have to be exactly on top of that fish, like directly below you. You could be 10 foot off to one side or the other, because as you drop that Luna jig down on top of them, that fluttering, flashing spoon as it drops through the water column is going to get those attention of those Lakers. They can see that spoon coming from 40, 50 feet away, literally, and they'll turn and start rising. And you'll see that right on your Garmin, your electronics, right in front of you. You'll see your jig falling. You'll see that fish coming up on it. When that happens, sometimes you can just stop your jig. You can either let it keep falling and the Laker will hit it, or you can just stop your jig, thumb it, and he'll hit it there. You can also jig it a couple times. He might stop and look at it. The second you release and let it keep falling, usually that'll trigger a strike immediately. You click your bail, reel, and lift, and you're on into them. You'll see it on some of the video that we're going to show you here in a couple of weeks on Destination Outdoors, our summer television show here in the state of Michigan. But anyway, the lake trout bite is awesome. The Cisco's are done except for the jigging in deep water. So that shallow casting you were getting before, that bite is pretty well over with. The water temps have risen to the point, but the lake trout, they're going to be bonsai all season long here in the greater Traverse City region.
Don't spend another season breaking your back using 5-gallon gas cans to fuel your toys. The Flo-Fast portable fluid transfer system is your solution. A great tool for fueling your ATVs, snowmobile, boat, garden tractor, and more. Flo-Fast eliminates gas sloshing on you and your machines, plus works in reverse to pull unused fuel from your equipment at the end of each season. The pump transfers from container to container in seconds and moves up to 8 gallons a minute. Log on to flofast.com for a dealer near you.
So, hey guys, our next stop is Lake Cadillac and Mitchell in the Greater Cadillac area. Now, these are two super familiar lakes, and a lot of people say, John, why do you even bother to talk about them? Well, let me tell you what, the fishing there stays spectacular. I have got report after report coming out of the 4th of July weekend of how strong the bass fishing was. Guys there spending the long weekend enjoying the great, the facilities and the fireworks and all of the great fishing that the Great Cadillac region has. But they just kept texting me saying, showing me picture after picture of these really nice 2.5 to 4 pound bass that they're catching, even after all the pressure that the first half of the year has produced. I also got 2 or 3 really good reports of guys that have been trolling spinners and bottom bouncers with crawler harnesses in Lake Cadillac, basically from the North Shore to the south, along the roadway right there. In the morning, that 10, 12 foot of water. In the afternoons, that 16 to 18 foot of water has been the best. Guys are trying to stay close to the bottom. And I've talked to several guys who, they didn't get boat limits, but, they got 4, 5, 6 keeper walleye, which is a really fun day out on the water. You're also going to catch a lot of largemouth, a lot of crappies when you're fishing with live bait for those walleyes. So that just kind of adds to the mixed bag feel. And it just gives you something different to do. And that, believe it or not, fishery has been coming on for the last couple of years, that walleye bottom bouncer spinner harness bite on Lakes Cadillac and Mitchell. Now, as the summer progresses, we'll come back and talk to you about the walleye bite on Cadillac, because Cadillac has a really good walleye bite as well. But it seems to always come just a little bit later, more of an August situation. So right now, Cadillac for bass and walleye on Mitchell, and also bass on Cadillac.
Why Lakeside Motor Sports in Nelson Speed Shop for your outdoor fun adventure? Michigan's Pontoon Superstore. Motorcycles both street and dirt, outboard and inboards, UTVs, ATVs, fishing boats, golf carts, trailers, generators, lawnmowers, both zero turn and push behind from over 36 name brand manufacturers and a top-notch service department with a state-of-the-art service facility. Why would you go anywhere else? For any kind of outdoor fun and adventure, we got it, so come get it. Your summer fun begins at Lakeside Motorsports and Nelson Speed Shop.
So guys, our last stop of the day for this week's report's the Greater Holland area. And even though the Greater Holland area has been, like most of the Great Lakes ports very spotty for king salmon fishing, Captain Mark Rapson from the Black Pearl tells me that slowly as summer, we creep deeper into the depths of summer, he's starting to see just a little bit of an uptick in the king bite for the Greater Holland region. Now, that may not be consistent all the way across the lakeshore, but certainly in Holland, Mark says that he's starting to be able to coax, 4 to 6 king strikes in the early morning period of his charters. Now, whether you get all those fish to the boat or not, well, you know what king fishing's like. It doesn't always happen. But especially since Mark tells me he's a lot of teens fish into the mid-20s is what he's hooking up with. And they have been getting about half of them to the boat. 3 to 4 kings a trip now is starting to be normal. And that's a lot better than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. So the Black Pearl is a really nicely rigged charter boat. And we're headed into tournament season now. So Mark's going to be fishing a couple of big tournaments going forward. We've got the Ludington Classic up north of Holland. That's going to be middle of July. If you're interested in following tournament salmon anglers and learning, that's a good one to check out. And of course, the Holland tournament, the Big Red Classic that happens the last day of July and the first day of August, that's coming up as well. So if you're looking to get out on a charter, Mark Rapson from the Black Pearl is a really great guy. There's other really reputable charters if Mark's booked up, because I know he is pretty booked up. TJ's got a great charter business out of Holland as well, and awesome boats. They've got lots of information and lots of great things that you can learn, especially if you're just getting into salmon fishing. I'm going to tell you the best way to learn how to salmon fish is to go out with guys who do it every day. I learned how to salmon fish basically watching charter fishermen when I was out with my groups of guys. And that once you get confidence in how they set their stuff up, but it's a combination of different things. They're using, of course, number 8 spin doctors on most of their rigs. They're running a lot of combination of flies, meat, or spoons. So go to the website. Mark wrote a really detailed report at fishermansdigest.com. Click on fishing reports, then click on the Holland region. Mark's report is right up there. He tells you and details exactly how he's setting his rods right now. It's a great starting point to going out for a trip, even in your own boat. Hey, thanks for joining us this week on the Fisherman's Digest. We're here, as I said, at the Outdoorsman Pro Shop. The place is stocked with great stuff. And one little ditty, Chad and the boys here have got the store really ramped up when it comes to gun ammunition. They've got calibers of all different varieties. They've got no limit buys with competitive prices. That's right, you heard me. You can come in here and buy 20, 30 boxes of ammunition. Chad and the guys got a big shipment of ammunition in. They're able to accommodate all you guys who've been sitting there waiting for places to be able to restock your arsenal. Well, right now at the Outdoorsman here in Jenison, Michigan, you can do just that. Lots of different varieties of calibers, no limits on how much you can buy, really competitive prices, along with a store full of fishing tackle that'll accommodate you for all your fishing needs. So get out down here to the Outdoorsman. If you wonder where the Outdoorsman is, if you see my report and you're 30, 40 miles from Grand Rapids, Jenison, Michigan is about 6 miles to the southwest of the Greater Grand Rapids region. You can just Google the Outdoorsman Pro Shop in Jenison. It'll give you directions, but they're basically, as a point of reference, they're on Baldwin Avenue or Main Street. It depends. It'll tell you two different things because Baldwin and Main kind of run concurrently right there. But they're right behind the Myers store, right at the corner of Cottonwood and Baldwin Avenue. And they're right a block on the back side of that Myers store, right there on the main drag. You can't miss them. They're at the end of a little strip mall, the Outdoorsman Pro Shop. Get on down here, restock your ammunition arsenal, and we'll see you again next week here on the Fisherman's Digest Hot Bites Report.